Hello, my friends. I wanted to kind of touch base with a little bit of record of the day kind of news. So, obviously, I haven't been doing it every day. I haven't done it since December. And so, therefore, the name record of the day not really going to work anymore. So, I've decided to come back and do this with a different kind of approach. I call the overall show Box of Tricks. That's after an old Ronnie Size record that isn't that great of a record by itself, but the sample I've always loved. But we'll get to that at some point. I also wanted to stop in and just kind of show off another record here. So let's get into that first and foremost. Come on. Relax. Now this is an old record. It's a white label with just marker on it, as many of them that I have are. This is Come On Relax by Skeet and Russ. It came out in 98 and then got a proper release in 99 on a label called Entropika. That's spelled with a K. I never thought I would track this record down at all for any information. When I pulled it out to talk about it tonight, I was just kind of gonna go off the very limited information you can see on the label here, which is just Entropika tracks, volume 1, Come On Relax, and quote marks, and then a phone number you can call, and then different writing on there telling you which side is which. This is the Skeet side, other side being the Russ side. And I googled it just to see if I could find any information on it, and lo and behold, it's on Discogs for like $1.30 or $1.40 at its highest. So apparently there's more than a couple of copies out there. This is a record that I got from my old buddy Destro. I've talked about him in the past. He doesn't DJ anymore, so I collected a lot of his records as he kind of eased his way out of it over the years. This is one of the first tunes I ever heard that was techno back in the day. I know it's not actually techno. It's classified as trance on Discogs, but it's not really, doesn't really fit into any kind of one of those genres, in my opinion. You know, it's got a hard kick like a harder trance song would, and it's got the builds, as you can hear right here, coming in. And it's got these dope claps. Check this shit out. I love those claps. Not a very complex tune, but it's got a special place in my heart. You know, the nostalgia factor is real strong with this. I remember this kind of being part of the early soundtrack to my exposure to this stuff. You know, going over to Nielsen's house, hanging out with Johnny and Zach and Pinto and all my old buddies, and this would be playing in the background with a bunch of other stuff that I'll be talking about eventually. A lot of it's on that shelf behind me, as you can see. But this is from a time before any of it made sense to me, you know, before I could even DJ, before I knew the difference between, before the difference between like trance and house had become apparent to me, or drum and bass, breaks, BPM ranges, none of it. It was all brand new to me, and I loved it. It was unique, and it was not widely available, and I've always been a sucker for things that are a little bit behind gates, you know. I think this goes with the breaks somewhere around here. Anyway, I do have some things to talk about regarding the future of what I've been doing with Record of the Day, and get to a couple of those now. So how I want to do it is I want to have these kind of come out at the end of every month. Last Sunday of the month, most likely, is when I'll put these up, and talk about a couple of records, 2 or 3 depending on how much time I have. Oh wait, this is dope. Let's let it go. We'll get back into that in a second. Let this groove kind of work itself out, you know. Hopefully it won't skip. It's an old record and it's not been maintained, I'm not gonna lie. Man, it's got style though. There's always something to be said when you look back from where technology is now, what producers or any medium are doing, and you see what was happening when there was less available tools. The less available tools you have, I think the more you have to force creativity. You get these wonderful ideas come out of these much more basic tool sets, especially in the hands of people that were novices. I mean, there's something gorgeous about what you can create when you're not a professional. You know, Aphex Twin has a really great quote about that. I'm not even gonna try to summon it in its entirety, but it's about how, you know, when Jungle came around, he loved it the most because it was made by guys that painted houses and fixed sinks. They weren't artists. They weren't able to understand, you know, the nuances that fit into these boxes, and because they didn't have to adhere to these rules of professionalism, they pushed boundaries innately. Kind of reminds me of that. I haven't heard this in a while, so you're kind of seeing my memories flood back to me in real time. I didn't really test drive this too much, so a lot of the stuff is the first time I've heard it and longer than I care to think about. I'm definitely gonna buy another copy of this. If it's like $1 and change on Discogs and somebody has some other cool stuff for sale, I want a clean version of this so I can kind of dust it off and record it and play it in the set at some point. Right. Let that guy sort of go on in the background. So, what I would like from anyone that's actually paying attention, I know there's been a handful of people that contacted me about if I'm going to do any more of these videos, and I really appreciate that. I really didn't think anybody was watching or listening, so even if only 2 or 3 of you are, then that's enough for me. But what I want to know is what you think about some ideas that I've had. What I want to do with this is, like I said, bring out the end of every month and kind of cover 2 or 3 records or 2 or 3 songs. Not all records, some of them are going to be digital because that's just the nature of things. But kind of do it like that, and then at the end of that, do a half an hour set of whatever, drum and bass, jungle, house and trance, whatever I feel like doing. Just kind of stretch my legs for half an hour. And first thing I want to know is, when I do that, would you like that set to have me talking over it as well, like on the microphone, like saying, you know, what tune this is, or any kind of explanation like you'd hear more in like an old school radio show, like back when Hype used to do his on Radio 1 or whoever. Would you prefer that, or would you prefer a clean set? That's the first question I would have. Secondly, is I want to talk about things that are probably going to get me muted and probably warned on Facebook. Like more popular songs that had proper releases on big labels. A year ago or so, when I started doing this, most they would do is mute me, and then I would come back and be like, hey, I'm not making any money on this, and after a week or so they'd unmute it. No harm, no foul. But I think over the course of the pandemic, with everybody streaming and the stupid laws they've come up with on Twitch and everything else, they've kind of made it a little more difficult to get away with that. Not that I think it's anything to get away with. I think it's ridiculous that we can't play music for each other, you know? Like, if I buy a piece of art, hang it on my wall, and invite you to my house, look at it, am I pirating it? Are you pirating it? where's the line? If I buy a dope tune and I fucking crank it in my car, and you're at the stoplight next to me, am I breaking the law by playing this song for you? I don't know. It's all in the weeds. Not to get too granular. Anyway, my point was this: to avoid the Facebook issue, I'd like to have the entirety of these shows hosted on YouTube. So I would wonder if some of you would follow me onto YouTube. I've already got a channel there. I've got some mixes up there and a couple of the last volume of Record of the Day up there as well. Would you guys be willing to go over there? Let me know. Obviously, I would still put things on Facebook. I put up like segments of an episode. Say, this part here with this jungle song or something like that is safe on Facebook. But with that upload, I would invite you to watch the whole thing on YouTube, where I might talk about a Wu-Tang tune or Blink 182 or something a little more popular amongst the masses that would probably get me muted if I talked about it on Facebook. So would you guys be into that? Obviously, this will be something that I repeatedly bring up in each of these videos, so you'll hear it again. But it's already a YouTube channel up now under my name, Ellsworth, if you want to track that down. Last generation Record of the Days are mostly up there. I got to upload. Actually, I have lots to upload still, but there's a handful up there, along with my Tom Caps memorial video I put together and a couple of sets that I did for various streaming events that I was a part of. So if you want to check that out, subscribe to it, I'd appreciate it. If not, that's your thing. But that's where most of these complete videos are going to be, that we talk about some of the more popular music. So just want to put that out there. Besides the box of tricks thing that I want to do every month, I'll probably have a couple of times per month before that I want to talk about just one tune at a time real quick, a little 8-minute video like I used to do. So those just go straight on to Facebook, and they'll be easy access, just done, one and done, not a lot of editing to them. And I'll probably call them quick tricks, because that just sounds fun. So I'm going to try that out. And also, lastly, what do you think of how this whole thing is working now? Actually, I have a microphone that I did a little settings work too, so it has an audio gate on it, and did a little bit of just tinkering around with settings so it wouldn't sound quite as muddy, because there's usually an oil burner clicking on behind me in this room, or a washer and dryer going, who knows. So the setup's been a little bit more tweaked now. Independent audio tracks between my vocals and what's coming out of the turntable into the mixer. Does it sound good to you guys? Are you digging how this feels compared to when I was doing it before? Just cell phone mic, cell phone camera. That's it. This is also a cell phone camera that I USB'd into a laptop and had to debug it. Lots of fun. Don't worry about it. Let me know what you think about that. This is kind of a work in progress. It always will be. This is going to be a DIY thing that I keep doing. So you're probably going to see the progress. If you keep watching anything I put up, you're going to see me improve at this. But any input from anyone that watches this is very much welcome. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody that asked me about this over the past few months. Like, hey, you're going to do any more of those videos? They're really cool. People I don't know, people that I've met maybe once at a party, God knows when, have been like, dude, those are great videos. And that means a lot to me. I don't think I really am that great at this, but I like talking about music. I like talking about this stuff, and I don't really have a lot of folks in my direct day-to-day life that I can do it with. So anybody that reached out and encouraged me to get back into this, I really appreciate it. It means the world to me. And as you can kind of see behind me here, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of stuff up there, and I got more incoming. I put some money into Discogs recently, so plenty more to talk about. Let me know what you think about all this. I really enjoyed kind of tinkering around with things and learning how to do video editing, and just figuring out how to be a little bit better at this weird thing I fell into doing. Always going to be DIY, probably always going to be just me doing it, so cool. Hopefully in the future, once the world's not on fire, get some friends down here, do some guest mixes, some of my old friends. That'd be nice. And last but not least, I want to say a big thank you to Val D, my brother Val D. My turntables are in the shop right now, which he actually gave me, and he's fixing them. And while he's fixing them, the dude brought down loaners, his decks. So thank you so much, my friend. I always appreciate you. And this mixer belonged to Tom Caps, who a lot of you knew, a dear friend of mine, and he passed away in January. And I made sure that I took his gear. I want to put it to good use. So this mixer right here is from that man, and we love him to death. And after that's my brother right there. So I want to give a thank you to Val, thank you to Tom, and I hope that you guys like what I'm planning on doing. Let me know what you think about how everything sounds. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.